He was a scientist, mathematician and astronomer. He was born on 4th of January 1643 Woolsthrope, England. His father's name was Issac Newton Sr and mother's name was Hannah Ayscough. His father was a farmer and had died 3 months before Newton's birth. His mother married when Newton was 3 years old and left young Newton in the care of his grandparents. Newton attended school where he was an educated student. At one point, his mother tried to take him out of school so he could help on the farm. But Newton had no interest in becoming a farmer and was soon back at school. Newton attained his preliminary education from the King's School in Grantham with a top rank. He then enrolled himself as a Caesar at the Trinity College Cambridge in 1661. The young Issac Newton is sitting in his garden when an apple falls on his head. And in a stroke of brilliant insight, he suddenly comes up with his theory of gravity. He would spend much of his life at Cambridge, becoming a professor of mathematics and a fellow of the Royal Society. He eventually was elected to represent Cambridge University as a member of Parliament. Newton had to leave Cambridge from 1665 to 1667 because of the Great Plague. He spent these 2 years in study in isolation at his home in Woolsthrope, developing his theory on calculus, gravity and laws of the motion. In 1685, Newton published his most important work called the Philosophiae Naturalis Principia Mathematica. In this work, he described the 3 laws of motion as well as the law of universal gravity. This work would go down as one of the most important works in the history of science. It not only introduced the theory of gravity but defined the principles of modern physics. Outlined in the Principia, his theory about gravity helped to explain the movements of the planets and the sun. This theory is known today as Newton's law of universal gravitation. Newton's law of motion were 3 fundamental laws of physics that laid the foundation of classical mechanics. Newton invented a whole new type of mathematics which he called flexions. Today we call this math calculus. And it is an important type of math used in advanced engineering and science. In 1668, Newton invented the reflecting telescope. This type of telescope uses mirrors to reflect light and form an image. Nearly all of the major telescopes used in astronomy today are reflecting telescopes.